A loud smack cut through the courtroom air. Two smug officers had just struck a quiet woman dressed in plain clothes. They exchanged arrogant grins, assuming she was no one important, just another person to push around. But they were dead wrong. Meet Brianna Cruz, a fire battalion leader with over 2 decades of service. She wasn't here to be bullied. And within the hour, everything these two cops thought they controlled would start falling apart. This all happened in Port Arrow, a coastal city known for its weathered charm and sharp social divides. Here, you'll find old colonial homes sharing space with broken-down apartment buildings. It's a city that smiles on the surface, but hides a long history of buried tension. Brianna arrived at the courthouse early that morning. The wind off the coast carried the scent of salt and the first signs of storm. At 46, she moved with the silent strength of someone who had walked through fire, literally. She'd spent most of her adult life rushing into burning homes while others ran out. She was the first woman of color to lead her station, but she never made noise about it. Her crew respected her not because of her title, but because of the grit behind it. She had saved lives, trained rookies, and held the line when things went sideways. Today, though, wasn't about a fire. It was about Deshaun, a rookie from her team. He'd been charged with property damage during a 10th Street incident with police. Something about the case didn't sit right with Brianna. Her gut told her it was off, and her instincts had never steered her wrong. Dressed in jeans and a dark flannel, Brianna chose to blend in. She wasn't wearing her uniform. No bars on her shoulders. No badge on her belt. She sat in the back, quiet and alert. Near the front, Officers Crandall and Bishop stood by the prosecution, their relaxed posture dripping with smugness. Brianna had heard things about them, aggressive behavior, missing reports, stories that got buried fast. But those were just rumors until today. When court paused for a break, Crandall yanked Deshaun up roughly by the arm. Brianna's mouth tightened. "Was that really needed?" she asked, her tone calm but cutting. Crandall spun around, annoyed. "Who are you supposed to be?" "Just a concerned observer," Brianna said. "You should keep quiet then," he snapped. But she didn't. When she stepped forward again, Crandall's face turned hard. "You people never know your place." His hand came fast, a sharp slap across her cheek. The sound cracked through the room like a dropped gavel. For a few seconds, no one moved. Brianna stood still, eyes locked on him, her jaw firm. "Did you just hit someone in front of a judge?" she asked, her voice echoing. "I warned you," Crandall said, trying to stay cool. Brianna reached in her back pocket and pulled out a worn black wallet. Inside, a gold badge gleamed in the light. Battalion Leader Brianna Cruz. Station 9. 23 years of service, she said loud enough for the entire room to hear. Crandall stepped back. Bishop looked like he'd seen a ghost. "That's not possible," he muttered. "Not possible that I'm someone with the authority to hold you accountable," she snapped. A courtroom official stepped forward, expression grave. "Would you like to file a report?" "I would," she said, turning toward the courtroom. "And I believe everyone here saw what just happened." Several phones were already filming. One of the clerks nodded quickly. Bishop stammered, trying to explain away. "She was interfering. I was asking why you needed to manhandle a restrained person," Brianna replied coldly. "There's a history here, and it stops today." The judge called a 15-minute recess, eyes on the red print blooming across Brianna's face. She left the room. When she returned, it was like a thunderstorm had rolled in. She now wore her full formal fire uniform, dark navy, polished buttons, ribbons and medals catching the light. Her hair, once loose, was tied back in a strict bun. She wasn't alone this time. Behind her walked Fire Chief Arun Talwar, a sharply dressed woman who introduced herself immediately. "Your Honor," she said, presenting a folder, Detective Carolyn, Internal Review Unit. "I'm submitting evidence related to a pattern of officer misconduct." The sergeant in the room went pale. "What is this?" the judge asked. "A documented record," Brianna said, stepping forward, "of 3 years' worth of abuse and cover-ups involving officers Crandall and Bishop, intimidation during medical calls, interference during emergencies, and suppression of eyewitnesses." Crandall shouted, "She's lying." The judge slammed his gavel. Brianna didn't flinch. "My department has 26 statements from paramedics, firefighters, and even bystanders. We've seen things the police assumed we'd stay quiet about. Chief Talwar added, we tried the chain of command. Every complaint vanished. Until today. And then, one voice rose from the back of the room. They moved me to the night shift in Midtown after I filed a report, said Officer Jamie Lott, barely louder than a whisper. Crandall beat a homeless guy behind a gas station. I told internal. Next day, I was working graveyards with no backup. That opened the gates. More voices followed. 2 more officers. A clerk. A local paralegal. All with similar stories. Then came the real bombshell. Chief Talwar handed over a flash drive. Footage recovered from backups, he explained. Supposedly corrupted, but our IT team found the originals. On screen, everyone watched Crandall fake evidence. Bishop threatening a teenage witness. Both laughing after filing false reports. This is organized criminal conduct, the judge said, barely containing his anger. The federal prosecutor stood. Your Honor, we ask for immediate arrest of Officers Crandall, Bishop, and Captain Mark Densmore. Their superior, as this may involve systemic corruption. The gavel struck hard. So ordered. But the backlash was quick. That night, Brianna's living room window shattered from a brick. The note tied to it read, keep quiet, or burn. Tires slashed. Graffiti on her home. Anonymous phone calls. You should take a hotel, Talwar advised. Brianna refused. If I leave, it tells everyone who spoke up that they should have stayed silent. Her crew rallied. They took shifts watching her home. Neighbors, some she'd once rescued, painted over the vandalism. Vets from the local post took up night watch. Businesses donated security equipment. Word spread fast. National media picked up the story. But Brianna turned down interviews. This isn't about fame, she told her chief. This is about right and wrong. The smear campaign started next. Fake claims. Edited photos. False complaints. They're trying to ruin your name, Kara warned. Let them try, Brianna said. They've got nothing I need. Weeks later, the federal courthouse overflowed. People lined the block to watch justice take shape. Brianna took the stand, that quiet fire in her eyes. Why speak out? The prosecutor asked. That slap wasn't just about me, Brianna answered. It was about showing who they thought could be silenced. The defense tried to break her down. Isn't it true you held a grudge? I held responsibility, she said. Not revenge. Enjoying the spotlight. There's nothing joyful about exposing a broken system. I didn't want the spotlight. I wanted change. Months passed. Crandall and Bishop sentenced. Densmore convicted. Over 30 cases tossed. A new oversight board formed. Brianna faced the aftermath calmly, coffee in hand, truth exposed. True courage, she knew, meant standing firm when fire came.